guys, what's up? My name is Jimena and today we're going to be talking about the Amazon, and this is going to be a bit of a heavy one, but real quick before I start, I just want to remind you guys that I am posting 3 times a week this month, so be on the lookout for that. But anyways, let's just get into it. This is your wake-up call. Siberia has lost 21,000 square miles, making this Russia's worst fire season on record. Wildfires in the Canary Islands have forced 8,000 people to evacuate. Earlier this year, Alaska declared its first extreme drought in recorded history, and now they're having an unusually long fire season. And Greenland's wildfires are reaching inhabited areas, which officials are scared of because of the implications from the massive ice melt they experienced last month.
What I'm saying is the planet's on fire. The
largest tropical forest in the world, otherwise known as the lungs of the earth, are on fire. This fire is so intense that it blacked out Sao Paulo. At 2 p.m., this was the scene in Sao Paulo, which is Brazil's largest city. If you ever wanted to know what the apocalypse looked like, now you know. But before we talk about the heavy subject of this video, let's first talk about the fires. Now, this is going to sound a little bit weird, but not all fires are bad. So fires are actually part of the natural forest life cycle. In the underbrush of a forest, sometimes there's invasive species that choke out desirable trees and other species and make it difficult for them to gain nutrients. So what the fire does is it gets rid of all of the dead debris and underbrush, and it actually makes it easier for more animals and trees and native species to find nutrients and food and stuff. Some seeds of hardwood trees actually need fire to crack open their shells before they can grow. Sometimes fires burn on their own, and back in the day before humans were here, it used to happen through lightning, but now that we are here and taking care of the land, humans actually set controlled fires, which you actually need a permit for in order to get rid of all the dead debris and underbrush. And igniting fires actually prevents future wildfires, and suppressing them can be devastating. For example, take the agricultural technique of slash and burn, which involves cutting down trees and then burning literally everything to the ground in order to gain nutrient-rich soils and clear the land very quickly. This is literally the worst agricultural technique. For example, in 1997, fires set in Indonesia escalated to be one of the largest wildfires in recorded history, burning millions of acres of land, killing hundreds of people, and species that were already endangered, like the orangutans, perished in the hundreds. Which brings us back to what's happening in Brazil. The rainforest is wet for a majority of the year, which means that this is not a drought-caused event. Though it is illegal at this time of year, some farmers use slash and burn to clear land. But another large player is illegal logging operations in Brazil that have been known to start fires to scare away indigenous people and cover their tracks. This year alone, the Amazon has experienced a record 72,843 fires. And that's just so far. It's still August. The most probable culprits are probably cattle ranchers, but will we ever know for sure? Well, the director of Brazil's National Institute for Space Research, also known as INPE, Ricardo Galvão, was fired earlier this month after his agency reported an 88% increase in deforestation of the Amazon. Following the inauguration of President Jair Bolsonaro, who has invited businesses to exploit their natural reserves, rather than addressing concerns, Bolsonaro fired Galvão and dismissed his findings as lies. He didn't just dismiss them as lies. Now he claims that NGOs are responsible for setting those fires in order to make him look bad. This is another Trump, okay? But luckily, this hasn't silenced Galvão, as he told the Washington Post that what he did was a defense of the dignity of Brazilian science, not only for Brazilian scientists, but for all scientists, and that our data should never be curbed by political interests. Galvão was first appointed 3 years ago by then President Michel Temer, and he said he started worrying about the agency's future when Bolsonaro won, having campaigned on dismantling environmental protections to pave the way for development in the Amazon, and when he started complaining about the accuracy of the agency's research. So, why should you care? The rainforest is known as the lungs of the earth. The rainforest creates 20% of the oxygen on the planet. And let me just say that the Amazon rainforest and the ocean are two of the largest carbon sinks in the world. Because think of all the pollution and all of the CO2 that we emit each day through our cars, through animal agriculture, through oil, gas, extraction, everything. It has 3 options. It either gets sucked into the ground, it gets sucked into the water, or it stays in the air. And obviously there's more complex ways to say it, but we're talking in simple terms right now. If we start burning the rainforest down and there's nothing left of it, all of that CO2 that was once held in the rainforest is now going to be in the air. And where's that going to go? It's either going to go into the air or it's going to go into the ocean. And in the ocean, it's going to exacerbate ocean acidification. And if it goes into the air, it's going to contribute to air pollution. So there's honestly no winning here. And I don't want to understate the importance that the rainforest has on our ecosystem as a whole. But right now, they have somebody in power in Brazil who is letting whatever business they want to take over the land and exploit it for what you can get out of it. And what is their reasoning for it? That every other country has gotten their fair share at polluting the fuck out of their land. Take the US, take China, take India. We've all had our fair share of degrading our land, and so we have no right to tell Brazil what to do with theirs. That's their justification for it. Not to even get into the fact that the Amazon is home to a lot of endangered species, indigenous groups, and a lot of plants that we haven't even discovered or been able to test out, which a lot of our medicine has actually come from plants in the Amazon. A lot of our plants that we know and eat today have come from the Amazon. Indigenous people have been there for countless generations. And what does Bolsonaro say? He doesn't want to leave them a centimeter of land. Now, I know it's kind of hard to keep your head up right now because there's a lot going on. This is not me trying to make you feel better about what's happening. This is me trying to wake you up to realize that in the grand scheme of things, the earth is going to renew itself. It is going to go through other changes and it is going to probably stay in one piece. But humanity, us living on this planet, we're fucking it up for ourselves and for our survival. Yeah, in a couple millions of years, maybe like the earth will replenish itself and like it'll all be fine and dandy and whatever. Are we gonna be here? That's the real question. But anyways, how can you help? What can you do? And so one of the things that always comes up is you can donate to an organization. And I am going to link some of them below that are voicing concern about the stuff going on in the Amazon and are trying to do their part to fix it. But I want to say the reason that our money matters more than our actions, which is really annoying for me because I would prefer to literally go out and do something as opposed to giving people my money. Because like to me, I just feel like my actions are more valuable, but we live in a money run society, so it's actually your dollar that matters. In which case, there's 3 things that I would like to propose to you that do involve your money and don't involve donating. But again, I will link down below sources where you can donate your money if that's what you choose to do. First off is avoiding palm oil. One of the reasons that they're degrading the land is to use it for palm oil. Another reason is cattle ranching, which goes into animal agriculture, which people get super pissed off about when you talk about taking away their meat. But think about taking away the lungs of the earth. Imagine the people that smoke cigarettes to the point where they get lung cancer. That is literally what we're giving the earth right now. I don't know what better way to put that in, or what better way to phrase it, but that's basically what we're doing. We're giving the earth lung cancer. And what happens to somebody with lung cancer? Do they live to be 100? But anyways, avoiding palm oil and I don't want to say giving up meat, because in the end you're going to do whatever you want to do, and that's not what this video is about. This isn't about converting anybody to veganism. But also, the US doesn't really get their meat from Brazil. But if anybody was living in another country, they should probably look into where their meat comes from, because if it's from Brazil, you might want to rethink that. Again, we're not going into the horrors of animal agriculture today, but the other two things that you can do is to buy environmentally responsible products and buy responsibly sourced products. And now the reason for this is that we vote with our dollar. If we are giving our money to a corporation, we are saying that we like your product and we are investing in it and we're happy that you have it and we agree with what you're doing. If you shift away from the easy, quick, fast products that you can buy anywhere that are terribly sourced, terrible for the environment, the companies are investing money in degrading the land, then you are voting with your dollar telling them that it's okay. But if they see a market switch towards people who are buying environmentally responsible products and environmentally resourced products, then they're going to pay attention and they're going to realize that they're losing their dollar by degrading the land, because that's what we're not voting for. We're voting for people who care about the environment and who care about the integrity of the environment. And we're putting our money there instead of in their pockets. And then that's going to shift the market, because now they're going to think, oh, in order for us to make money, we have to start giving a shit about the environment. And just like a quick example, the dairy industry. Yeah, a lot of people are like, wow, vegans are so extreme. Like, why are you doing that? Like, whatever comments they have. And honestly, the switch from cow milk to almond milk, soy milk, cashew milk, oat milk, whatever milk it is that is not dairy, is actually hurting the dairy industry. And we did that by telling them with our dollars. Companies get bad press all the time. It doesn't matter unless it affects the amount of money that they're actually making. We told them with our dollar, we're not really gonna be drinking that much milk, we're gonna choose the alternative, and we have switched the market. Now there's more vegan products out there available than there ever was before, because we're voting with our dollar and companies are taking note of that. And so that is why money is such an important part of what can I do, because with your dollar you're telling companies, I either agree with you degrading the land or I don't agree with it. Another thing that you could do is either share this video or just in general keep talking about it. We have to bring light to this conversation about what's happening with the Amazon, because again, their president doesn't give a shit. Imagine trying to get Trump to give a shit about colored people. That's exactly how Bolsonaro feels about indigenous communities, about the integrity of the rainforests, and about conserving the land. He really is just all profit in the end. So we have to keep these conversations going, and we have to put pressure on officials to do something, because whatever results from this is not going to be good for anyone. Not only is the Amazon on fire right now, we lost 12.5 billion tons of ice in one day on Greenland, and there's more coming. It's not like it was just a one-day melt. It's still melting. There's wildfires raging across all corners of the planet. And honestly, like, who would have thought? Who would have thought that climate change would have done this? I don't know, maybe like the many scientists that were shut up and silenced in the last like 50, 60 years. Like, we've been warned. The inaction that we've taken in this whole time that we've had scientific research telling us exactly what was coming, it's here. We've been saying that climate change is coming, and it is here. It is here right now, because the last 5 years on record have been the 5 hottest years on record. Not only that, July worldwide was the hottest year on record. And you have to remember that the northern and southern hemisphere are at different points in their seasons. The northern hemisphere is currently in the summer, and the southern hemisphere is currently in the winter. I don't know what to say, guys. I know. This is insane. What pisses me off more is that when I was in second grade, when I was 7 years old, I'm literally about to turn 22. When I was 7 years old, in second grade, I still remember we did a project on the Amazon rainforest, and we talked about all of the layers of the canopy and whatnot. And I remember my teacher telling us that they were destroying the rainforest for paper and other things. And I was 7 years old and I was concerned. And now I'm almost 22 years old, and this shit is still happening. Nobody is doing anything about it, and it's getting worse. We've had all of this time and all of this warning, and we've done nothing with it. So you can choose to take action, donate to an organization, change your lifestyle, support better brands, support indigenous communities, or you can do nothing and we can all burn in hell. Because that seems to be where we're headed. Sorry, I can't be more upbeat. But this is what's happening right now, and I don't want to make it sound better than it is. Anyways, I hope that this was an informative video and that you learned something from it. And get Frodo real quick to tell you some final words, because I know this was depressing. Any concluding thoughts, Frodo? Alright guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you learned something from it, and don't forget to hug a tree before they all burn down, and I'll see you guys next time.